Video games. They're a very important part of society today. But where'd they come from? How did they originate? Well, let's find out. So, let's time travel all the way back to the 1950s, just outside war, to two men named William Higginbotham and Bob Dvorak. Now, these two were sitting in the Brookhaven National Laboratory one day, thinking to themselves, our open house visit isn't really engaging to younger audiences. How do we fix that? So William Higginbotham got out a manual, read through it, and keep in mind that the research of this laboratory was shooting missiles at the time, so he found the perfect comparison, and that was tennis. This is Tennis for Two. The game William Higginbotham and Bob Dvorak made to teach the younger audience the goal of the research of their laboratory. Now, this game is pretty straightforward. You hit a ball with a button. You use a button to hit a ball, and you use the joystick next to the button to change the trajectory of the ball. If the ball clears the net, the opponent can hit back. Now let's skip forward to 1962 to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, specifically to three grad students there, Martin Greets, Steve Russell, and William Whittinen. Now these three minds were behind the game Space War. Space War was also pretty simple. You and one other person controlled two spaceships, and the goal was to defeat the other player's spaceship while keeping in mind of your limited ammo supply and the gravitational pull of the sun. Now, the only problem with this is that it required expensive computer to play. Anyways, let's fast forward a bit more to a man named Ralph Baer. Now, this man came up with a concept for a home video game console. This pitch also did not impress many people, except for one man, Bill Enders. Bill Enders was the only man that was impressed by this pitch. He used to work for RCA, but then left for Magnavox. Now, Bill Enders, when he became the vice president of marketing for Magnavox, sent Ralph Baer a contract for his brown box, which then became the Magnavox Odyssey. Now, the Magnavox Odyssey had 12 games on it on its first release. One of these was Pong. There was also three types of games: educational reinforcement, adult games, and competitive sports. Now, there was a problem, admittedly. People thought that because this was attached to the Magnavox brand, they would need a Magnavox TV to use it. This was not the case. So, to counter this thinking, Magnavox decided to use special deals, like buy a Magnavox TV and get the Magnavox Odyssey for 50% off. This did work for a bit, but not permanently, as eventually in the 1980s, the video game market crashed. Now, this was pretty sad, admittedly, but it does come back later, and more permanently. Now, let's talk about how video games impacted society. So first, filmmakers and game developers both took interest in each other's fields. A key example is Steven Spielberg, who made a game of his own original idea, Medal of Honor. Well, he also made his own branch of DreamWorks, whose sole purpose was developing games. People from both industries also merged together to create powerful multinationals, an example being Sony. Now, in the year 2001, video games on both PC and console earned a total net worth of $6.35 billion. Now let's talk about how video games impact us today. Now, how on Steam, there are 2,600 games that bear the historical tag. Video games have earned Hollywood. Esports have a larger audience than physical athletes' audience, and teachers have started to incorporate video games into their classes. Now, there are some bad things as well. Video games can lead to increased aggression and depression, and video game development companies often suffer from management problems. The main three problems of video game development are management, marketing, and production. These are links to all the images I used. There are 25 link addresses to the images. This does not take you to the site link is from, but it'll take you to a place where you can go to the site the image is from. Anyways, that's everything.